Wednesday. So I'm just going to call this episode really quick, the Desktop Confessional Extra Edition. Um, yeah, I'm on the clock right now. And the rest of my colleagues, teachers, and whatever are all in professional development in the other classroom just down the hall from me, so I'm just back at my office right now. Now, so the reason why I'm doing this is so that, well, first off, you get to see some of the stuff that I do behind the scenes that no one's ever going to know about. But in addition to that, too, this is also video so that people know, like, hey, I wasn't slacking off between the hours of 2:20 and 3:30 or whatever the hell they're doing. So what am I doing today? I have one Chromebook. I have two Chromebook. This Chromebook, the battery's toasted on it. This Chromebook is beaten to shit. And I'm going to take the battery out of this one and put it in this one. So there isn't going to be too much talking. I might be doing some commentary just so that I can, curse and swear all I want. I have to keep my door open here because there might be a student coming in asking about stuff. So I'll try to keep the language clean. But it's just FYI. They're loud as heck. Give me 1 second, please. No, you don't. No, you don't. And you are continuing to walk down the hallway quietly, yes?
I got two backpacks.
Nice. You have two backpacks. That's okay. So basically, I just had a student exclaim really quickly that he had herpes, and I'm all like, I'm sorry? I don't know. So yeah, I'm back to doing this right now. Just back to pop, pop, fizz, fizz here. You're going to hear some pops and some cracks and hopefully not too much cracking. And just me working with some tools. And, I'm just taking apart Chromebooks right now for the next couple because this was one where a student actually came up to me and said, Miss, my stuff isn't working. I need to get this. It's not charging. And I'm going, oh, this is a problem. I plugged it in, and it turns out that the battery shows up very momentarily on the bottom right hand of the screen, and then it just refuses to keep charge. So this right here is the Chromebook that I've just taken apart here, and this white piece right here, that candy bar sized battery right there is what's coming off, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it in the other computer. So how's your day going? I had to sit through quite a bit of professional development that didn't make any sense to me because it's all focused toward the teachers. I actually just realized that a couple of my other colleagues weren't even at the meeting, and I know why. One of them had to leave early because they didn't want to pay him overtime. I mean, it's great to get the pay for the overtime. It's just having to do it. That's the part that sucks. The good news is that I'm avoiding back to school night tomorrow because I have a personal appointment that I'm doing, and and I had mentioned too is that I'm not going to be here tomorrow morning because I'm going to be in Fullerton for that final interview. Oh, that clink that you're hearing are all the screws going into this cup right now, so just letting you know. So, yeah, the part that really sucks, though, is I have a meeting with my principal on Friday to explain why I've had to take the equivalent, not even like consecutively, but the equivalent of 2 days off over the last 3 weeks. And I definitely could use some insight on this because I really don't want to tell him that I've been interviewing for the position. I really don't want to. Unfortunately, I mean, just out of curiosity, in terms of legality, and anyone can answer this question while I'm sitting here, removing a battery. But, so.
We're yelling at the kids. I got a complaint.
Yeah, God, because they're interfering with my Facebook Live, man.
Oh. Because they're allowed to scream and talk loud and do all this. Technically, school's not on session.
Well, I mean, if you have a kid explaining that he has herpes in front of my room, I'm going to be telling him. You can't tell him to go get a doctor.
Here's some crab medicine.
I know. It's like, here, have some, that's not the kind of crabs I want to deal with right now, man. I'm not that kind of tech support. I love my resource officer. That's my ex-Marine resource officer who always messes with me. There are some people here that are definitely I've enjoyed working with for the last, year or so, and he's awesome. He knows I do these, so it's not surprising. It's just funny as hell. So anyway, this is what I have. This is the gutted one. This is the one I'm going to be doing surgery on. Playing battery swap here. So while we're talking. I'm just like, this is just funny. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt the camera down. You can still hear me talking, but at least you can see some of the work that I'm doing right now. And it's just, just stuff that I'm doing here. Hopefully you can see a little bit about like what goes into, what Miss M has to do every day. And I want to say this, this position really does require a lot of thought. It really does, because frankly, this is easy to do, but it's like one of those weirdo skills that like you don't actually try to learn how to do until you actually like need the skill. It's one of those odd things. So what I'm currently doing right now is this is the laptop that my student reported is not taking a charge. And I've confirmed that the laptop still functions. The only problem is the battery is absolute crap on it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm opening up the student's laptop, and I'm going to take that battery that I just yanked out of the other one, and I'm going to swap it. Now, you might be asking, hey, you know what, you're putting all the screws in the same cup. Which, that guy right there. It's like you're putting all the screws in the same cup. It's like, well, frankly, they're all the same. Like, all the screws are the same, including the ones on the inside, which makes it super easy. So as long as the screws are, as long as I have the same kind of screws at the end, it's all good. So this is what you're watching. This is me at work. This is one of the few opportunities that I have to really like show like what I actually do at my job, because as I've mentioned multiple times before, most people don't know what I do at my job. And what I do, and if I had to basically explain, what I do at my job, it's basically making sure that everyone has a computer. That's basically what I do. I make sure that everyone, not only does everyone, this is my pry tool right here, but not just to mention that everyone has a computer, everyone has a working computer. And if there's a technology problem, I am the first to fix it. That's just the way it goes down. I don't take my job lightly. So this is the student's computer. Now you can't tell from the outside if the battery's absolute shit, but the easiest way to find out is remove the questionable battery and then test it again. So that's what I'm doing right now. Just removing this battery, and then I'm going to replace it with the battery that I just pulled out. So, yeah, lots of plinky screws. They're kind of cute, After a while, you're just like, yeah. So, because we get out, it's Wednesday, so the students get out at 1:30, but we have after-school program until like 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever. And so, the students here are the ones who, don't go home until like 5 or something like that. And that's okay. Where's my hook tool? All right. So yeah, it happens, So, battery up. Whee! So this battery, and then this battery. So that battery goes here. It's swapped. Now I'm just going to place it in here. I'm pretty sure it's a defective battery. I don't see why it's not a defective battery. Yeah, it's just the way the cookie crumbles here. Now, as I mentioned, it doesn't matter which screws I use because they're all the same size on the inside and the outside. And so, I think this, yeah. Oh, well, this is the good news. This is the, I have the magnetized tip on this thing, so that makes it a lot easier for me to take care of this. Now, in an average semester, I'm probably taking apart maybe about anywhere between 6 and 10 of these in a semester. Now, that number is probably going to increase a little bit more because these Samsung Chromebook 2s, no, Chromebook 3s, these are the black ones. These Samsung Chromebook 3s are no longer under warranty, so I have to perform all the repairs myself if possible. Unfortunately, I have about 5 or 6 of these stupid things that are just broken, and there's no explanation why, other than the fact they're honestly cheap. Now, I was going to complete that with something else, but frankly, these Chromebooks do the job. I mean, they allow every student in this school, to have a computer, and that's really, the big thing. So right now, I just connected this thing, and I'm going to plug it in and see if it holds a charge. If this thing holds a charge, then I know that it was a defective battery, and we're good. I'm just, for the time being, just going to put the cover on enough to, just enough to protect the insides here because I don't want to shock it. And let me just find a plug here. and we'll test this out and see if the darn thing turns on. So, yeah. Now, obviously, I'd have more time to do this if I wasn't supervising kids at 10 a.m. The good news is, though, that today's brunch was a chicken sandwich, so the food was really good. Okay, to school lunch standards. Here we go. So let's find out if this guy plugs in. And lo and behold, oh my gosh, that is a red light. That's a red light. That means it's charging. It was a shitty battery. That was, yeah. So this makes me feel really good. I'm going to make my 6th grader or 7th grader very happy about this because it is turning on. Oh yeah. That's what I wanted to see today. I got a working Chromebook. It was a bad battery. That makes me feel very, very good. So let's take a look here. Yep. Battery showing 75%, which is about where this other one was. I am stoked. Oh, this is great. So yeah, there you go. So what you just saw is me fixing a problem with another dead Chromebook. Just did a battery swap. This battery is crap, and I just replaced it. So yay me. Just unplugged it, and guess what? It's still powered on, so we are good. That means, good news, is that Miss Munoz has a working Chromebook. Now those snaps is me putting this cover back on, and then I'm just going to go ahead and screw this cover back on here. And we'll see if there's any other fun laptops that maybe I can, fix right now. So back to this. It's really, that's one of the satisfying things about doing this right now. It's definitely one of the satisfying things is that knowing that, you have the answer to this, because I know that there's no one in administration who know the answer to this. There's no one in my teaching staff who are, savvy enough with Chromebooks. Granted that there isn't that much savvy involved, but there is a particular type of savvy involved with doing this. It's this kind of things that, it's satisfying to know that you have a particular skill set and that you can use it and that it's going to benefit students somehow. And so for me, my particular skill set is understanding tech in schools and knowing how to maintain such things and still, do it in such a way that the students can still learn and function. And that is really the way that I need to do it. Yeah, so I had, defective battery, no problem. Now I will say this is actually the first defective battery I have dealt with in, since these Chromebooks came to be. That means that, the Chromebooks, remember these things, get 180 days worth of school use, and then of course all the abuse that goes with it considering they're students. So you have to also think about that these things really go through a lot. And for all I know, it could have been a power surge. It could have been just the battery just deciding to conk out. I mean, lithium-ion batteries are not that expensive to make. And, nothing's perfect. Things will fail. It's one of the reasons why when you start looking at computers and they start getting into the 4 or 5 year range in regards to, maintenance and stuff like that, and battery life, you probably want to start thinking about another battery. Now, I mean, there's some batteries, they do pretty well, and you can do like 7 years on them. For me, I know vehicle batteries are a whole different story, but usually when I start getting up toward about 4 years, the thing's going to, you don't know when the thing's going to just discharge. So, voila, here you go. Good Chromebook, has a battery, bad battery, and we go from there. So that is one issue that I was encountering. Now here's another issue that I was also encountering. I have a Chromebook, and this one is an attempt to repair. I'm not sure if this one's going to guarantee. Then again, the one involving the battery wasn't going to guarantee either. But I do have a Chromebook that is having very much difficulty trying to the sound. I'm getting no sound. So I'm wondering if the speakers got blown out. This particular Chromebook was reported damage back on August 25th, and obviously I haven't had time to do anything because, life. And so this one says, speakers very low, headphone jack works, and I may attempt a speaker swap. Now, here's why I do this, okay? I mentioned before that every time I have an issue with a Chromebook, I write notes and tape them with mailing tape on top of the Chromebook or the device that's broken in question, because the last thing you need is to have a bunch of like broken things in front of you and going, what the hell's wrong with it? And you don't have the kind of time to, you really don't have the time to troubleshoot. So since I don't have the time to troubleshoot or even just bother to remember what the hell happened, this is what I'm doing. So speaker's very low, headphone jack works. The good news is that I will not have to remove too much. However, I think I may have had, and I remember this from last semester, if you had been joining me last semester, I had a student who graduated, and this particular student deliberately destroyed a keyboard. Now, when I took the keyboard apart, I didn't realize that you didn't have to change out, like you didn't have to remove the speakers that were attached to the keyboard, but I ended up keeping them anyway. And I think I might be able, I think I still have these in a box and I might be able to use them because I knew they worked. Yeah, this particular student was just a terror. I really hope she hasn't blown up the school she's at now because, ugh, like, yeah. So let's take a look. These are speakers. I know they work, so here we go. All right, here we go. More screws to undo. Take, flip. Here we go. Now, since I don't know which speaker decided to blow, I'm going to, I am going to replace both of them. Sorry, there I had a student walk by and had no idea that I'm probably talking to myself. He's probably thinking in his head, Miss M's crazy. Everyone knows Miss M is crazy. Anyway, here we go. So I know that we're kind of on a rush here because I didn't get to show you how I'm reenacting the problem. But basically, let me just tell you that whenever I play anything on YouTube and you turn it up super loud, you can't hear anything out of the speakers. Now, if you throw the headphones on, according to the student who reported this, the headphones work fine. The headphone jack works fine. So, hold on. Let me just go ahead and text someone real quick here, make sure that they're alive. So just kind of going in here and seeing what I can do. Good news is that the speakers are exposed on this thing. These Chromebooks have a retail price of anywhere between $179 to $229. Needless to say, they're cheap as hell. Because they're cheap as hell, and they're mass produced, that there are going to be some impurities, some imperfections, some shortcuts, you name it, something that's going to reduce the price in general just because you can. So what I'm doing right now is, now that I've done the screws, it's kind of, I gotta do pop fizz over here. All right. So it appears we may have, we'll see if these speakers are wrecked. So we have two speakers here. First speaker is right here, and the connector is up here. So it's right there. Second speaker is here, and the connector is up here, right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hook tool here really quick and just give them a disconnect. It's not really stuck in that well, Although one thing, yeah, and I was trying to see if they're disconnected at all, and no, they were in there pretty good, so something probably blew up. Okay. So here we go. If I can just go ahead and give that a little tweak there. And they are aptly labeled left and right, which makes my life a lot easier. You know, in regards to replacement. It's just one screw takes it all off, and we will go from there. So it just comes right off like that. It's just a little casual screw. It's kind of a bigger head, just to keep it from falling off. It's got a little bit of like a cushion on the, and there's a reason why I put a slip of tape over these. And of course I dropped the screw somewhere. It's not good. Ugh. But yeah, these that's a special kind of screw. So so here's the right one. This is the replacement. As you can see, I did have to put some tape over it a few months ago, and fortunately it stayed. So I save things like this because I know what happens when you don't, and yeah, not good, you know. There's a little bumper. I'm just going to jack it from this one because I can, because I don't care. It's a grommet. So that grommet is going to stay there, and that little guy, and I'm just going to screw it back in. Take this tape off so that I free the screw, and hope that I didn't wreck this speaker in the process while I'm doing it. Here we go. So this is my attempt to try to fix a cheap as shit, computer. And yeah, well, one thing I have to do though is I have to put this grommet back in the middle here because it's supposed to be like a you know, dampener, you know, because these are speakers, right? So I'm gonna shove this in somehow and just hope it sticks. Yeah. All right, so here we go. Dampener, ooh, cool, yay. Throw in screw, insert screw. So we're going to see if this is going to work. I mean, this is a complete experiment. If there's something even far worse, like maybe an issue with the sound portion of the motherboard or something like that, then that's something I can't fix. But at the minimum, at least I could try to provide some sort of a, you know, some sort of a recourse at this point. So that's in. I'm going to just kind of pop it in here real quick. I know technically I'm supposed to disconnect the battery when I do this, which fine, just for my own conscience. Here, you're welcome. So just gonna go ahead and plug this bastard back in here, and if it lets me. There we go. So that's the right side replaced. You know, we'll see what that goes. And so that's the old one. Here's the left side. Go ahead and unscrew that too. I know the light's actually a little bit better in here because it is, you know, my actual office, but you know, it's not perfect, but it's still better than what it was. Fortunately, it's only one screw to take off a speaker. Here we go. Boom. And here is the other. That's the replacement. That was the original. I mean, yeah, you really can't tell if they're broken or not, but hell, I might as well just do it. Here we go. And before I do that, I just need to release the tape that I had. Basically, I forgot when I taped this. I think I probably taped this like at least April, May. So I've had this thing in hibernation for like the last how many months? So anyway, I'm gonna go and just screw this back in here and see if I've repaired the, you know, as soon as I finish screwing this back in, I'm going to just put the cover on without putting the screws on, just to protect the underside here. But before that, I, you know, reconnect the battery, and then we'll find out if my theory is correct and it's just a couple like blown speakers. Because I mean, that kind of stuff happens. You know, you got cheap as shit electronics. You know, you gotta do that. So I'm just gonna. We'll find out.
I left my keys in the restroom.
Oh,
where all you work?
Of course.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, always here to help a teacher, right? Okay, so This is a moment of truth here. I'm gonna go ahead, turn this computer on, log in as me at this point, and we'll see real quick. I'm gonna play a YouTube video and see if it's going to work. Now this thing's been off for a while, so I'm pretty sure that it's not gonna power. So I need to go find one of my extra cables.
Thank you, man.
You're welcome. So, let's see. Where I need a plug. I need a plug. I need a plug. All right. So, see if I can find myself a plug. I know it's a little bit of a mess. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, the thing, started up on its own, but So, yeah, this is pretty much what I'm doing today. Is watch me work, right? And it's about the best I can do at this point. Let's find out if the sound works on this thing and just go from there. Fortunately, I don't have the cool kind of a webcast where I can switch from one to another, but it's okay. I can deal with that. Nice thing about having a non-student account is that I can open up incognito window, which, that's what matters to me here. Not that I'm looking up anything that's, obscene or anything like that, but, it's just the way it is. So let me just get through the web filter here and then see if we can play a video and see if I fix these speakers once and for all. And once these speakers are fixed, I can return this Chromebook back to my store, to the, what is it called? To my reserve pile, because these reserve pile, I don't have a lot of computers ready to, I probably have about 7 or 8, but I just want to make sure that, I have extras because, someone's going to lose their shit over this. Here we go. Let's hope this works. Guess what?
President Trump faces a series of challenges more difficult than any he has dealt with up to this point. So how is he responding? By threatening to deport hundreds of thousands of law-abiding Americans. For more on this, it's time for a closer look.
So yeah, there you go. Speakers work great. I just did a speaker swap.
Everything else will face the next several months, the budget, the debt limit.
Of course, we don't want to be looking at news that's depressing, right? So here's the good news about this. This little guy right here, no longer a problem. This Chromebook is now back as a reserve. This makes me feel really good right now because I was really concerned about it. Fortunately, like I said, I understand these stupid things, so I'd be fine. So good news is that we have a Chromebook that is now back in circulation and ready to be issued out when needed, but the speakers work. And it just required me to pull speakers that I had laying around, not even kidding you, since April. So these guys are done. In the trash they go. It's very. So while all this is going on, let me just go ahead and button this up and go from there. So yeah. So how's your day going? Anything special? Kind of watching me put this all back together. So yeah, if anybody has any issues with Chromebooks, I am the person to go to because I can do this. Yeah, that's what I do. I tend to fix things. So more replacements of screws here. It's like, what's Christine doing? Oh, just putting computers back together. No big deal, right? Yeah, I kind of have to do this. But, it's really nice because, on camera in about 30 minutes, I've successfully repaired 2 laptops that are going to be returning to circulation, and that is very satisfying. This is stuff that I've finally been able to catch up on after, all of the weirdo, start of school projects that have gone in for, the past, and that's the thing, is, we've entered week 5 of school already. Some students are, just beginning their first day, and I'm like, seriously, guys, I've already been in frickin' school for a month and a quarter already. And, I can't wait to get out. Now, granted that, what I do here is I have to fix everything short of IT. like short of like central IT. Because, you know, as the way that the framework is for my position, if your technology system does not know how to do this stuff, you know, you're pretty much on your own, or you're not going to have usable technology. And it is very frustrating to have to try to explain that, hey, you know, this is useful. So here we go. So since I am unable to explain this to people, so if anyone you know, is interested in learning Chromebook, it's not difficult. I know I've gotten a few questions about, hey, you know, what are the benefits of having a Chromebook? I know that they're getting pitched around, you know, Best Buy a lot. And I will say this, is that Chromebooks, if you're just doing things for internet and you use Google apps heavily, like Google Slides, Google Sheets, Google Docs, and you know, like Google Forms and all the Google stuff, right? If you're using that heavily and you find that when you're web browsing that you're going to be using a lot of those apps, I heavily recommend. Chromebooks are great. They're quick, they're cheap, they're easy, and if you get one stolen, you don't feel so bad because they were less than $300 to begin with. Of course, you know, you'd be pissed off if your iPhone was stolen, but honestly, you lose one of these, you won't feel as depressed. So there you go. This is a repaired happy computer. I'm going to put this bad boy back. This one, as I mentioned earlier, was the one where I pulled the battery out. So this is the bad battery from earlier. So I'm going to find one of my Sharpies here. If I can find it. And we're just going to mark it as bad because it's bad. And, you know, today is the 6th, I believe, so 9/6/17. You know, and I'll just put my initials so that if somebody goes, who's CM? It's a person who used to work here. All right. So I'm going to revise well, I'm not going to revise. This is my donor computer. Why is it a donor computer? Because like it kind of works. However, ... the keyboard is shot and it looks like someone like crushed it. So it's not very usable as in terms of a usable device, but its parts are still alive. So I'm basically using it as a donor computer. If something is shot, I'm just going to replace it. If a screen's broken, I'm going to jack it. I'm going to do just a bunch of things to it. And that's what I plan to do. So, you know, it's okay to be a donor computer. Sometimes, you know, your organs can help other people. Now, I know that was a weird analogy, but, you know, there's something to be said about having extra parts laying around. You know, it's like, you know how many countless Chromebook lives this computer is going to save? Yeah, I actually went there. So I'm not even going to bother. You know, that's the connect for the battery. I'm not even going to bother reconnecting it because it's dead. But you get an idea. Well, maybe I will, just for kicks, because if anything, this computer can take power. So we're just going to snap that back up. And if I did my job correctly, I should have no screws left. If I have a couple screws left, oopsie. I just have to make sure that I save it. But I'll show you the damage to this particular computer because it's kind of funny. I don't even know how it even occurred. Because, like, okay, so this corner here doesn't come back properly. But, like, you open up the keyboard, you can probably see it right there. But, yeah, that's buckled in and crushed. So that particular side of the keyboard's busted. And that's really what caused this computer to get returned and replaced. Yeah. Makes me wonder. But hey, you know, don't mind me, I just work here. I should do like a, you know, granted that, you know, you don't really need a camera on me 24/7, but, you know, for special occasions like this, you know, I don't mind being watched. It's fun. So yeah, if you need a computer, Yeah, if you need a computer, you know, computer fix or anything like that, you know, I can do this stuff. I've been installing hard drives and replacing RAM on these things since I was in grade school. So I would definitely be able to do stuff like this. So as I was saying, the big things that I need to look out for is I need to make sure that I have enough spares to last me, and I need to maintain, the Chromebook supply here because, like I said, shit breaks. We can't buy new ones because, hey, like, if things break here, we can't replace them. I had mentioned, in my previous episode of the Desktop Confessional, that we're looking at about an 8 to 9 week. And I mean, I originally was given the thought it's like 7 to 8 weeks for an approval on a purchase, not even the actual ordering itself. I'm going to add another week to it because it's seriously pretty bad. So I'm pretty sure that it's like 8, 9 weeks. There's no way around that. And as expected, I missed the screw, but I really don't care. So I'm just going to make sure that I keep this cup in my storage so that I don't lose that extra screw. Okay. So all the extra screws. Those 2 are from the speakers. And there you go. So I'm going to go ahead and just write on top of this here is that 9.6 battery swapped out. And just put this one back. Just for some show and tell, I have to share this one. It's one of my favorite notes that I've written on a Chromebook. And it says, this is from May 25th. Chromebook overheated and burned internally, leaving a horrible smell. Out of warranty. Go ahead, try it. So that's what I wrote back on May 25th. So I do keep my systems pretty consistent here. It's a mess. You're just like... I also have another laptop that's pretty damaged due to a student incident back last semester.
Luis, Poroskia, and Devin Ruiz.
So it also involves, water. So that could tell you a little bit about how bad that was. So yeah, there you go. So live on Facebook, I just repaired 2 Chromebooks, and we are all satisfied. I like it, and I can now return 2 of them back to order. Anyway. That's all I have for now. It's 3:35. I think I'm supposed to be here for at least another hour or so, or something like that. So, but, even with the censorship and whatever, I do have actual visual evidence that I fixed something. And I will write a note in my task list that I went in and I fixed these 2 laptops. I had to pause there because my assistant principal just walked by my open office. Yeah. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to sign out here. Thanks for tuning in to an extra edition of the Desktop Confessional for your Wednesday, September 6th, 2017. I will talk to you all later.